Well, good evening, everybody on this side of the United States, and good morning to those on the other side of the United States. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are tuned into LKM Kingdom Living Leslie's Lessons Learned. And we are here today with my cousin, Dr. Donald Thomas, and we're going to be talking about longevity as you're entering into retirement and in retirement. Let's get started. Whoa. So, hey,
Sorry about that. Wait a minute.
okay. So, as I was saying, my name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are tuned into LKM Kingdom Living Leslie's Lessons Learned. And we're just excited to be here tonight to share. As you know, I'm always having someone on to talk about um, retirement, and retirement is different these days. You are sideways, cousin. Um,
Is my
so
head cut off now?
you got to lift it up, though. Can't see you.
Boy. And last minute little details.
That's all right.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah. So as we go forth tonight, I saw something I want to read. We're going to go through your web page. There's a lot of interesting things on there, and so I wanted to talk about some of them. But I wanted to read something before I bring it up. It's just about you. It says, Meet Donald, Spider Man Thomas, and we'll talk about Spider Man. It says, For over decades, Donna Spider Man Thomas has demonstrated a disciplined approach to healthy aging, act, athlete longevity, and plant based performance through elite jump rope training, public education, rehabilitation experience, nutrition practices, and endurance based um, movement. So, and then it says he worked, his work combines real work athletic experience, injury recovery, healthy aging, education, and lifelong plant-based living into one practice system designed to help individuals stay active, resilient, and physically expressive throughout life. And so, this I want to say is my cousin Donald Thomas, and so he has longevity. You saw that 5 decades worth of information on how to live a more healthy life. And so, Donald, welcome. I'm so glad that you said yes to coming on. You've been on here before. You're no stranger. It's been about a year or so, but you've been on here before, and you've always given us great advice. I want to say welcome to everyone that's here, those that have not said anything but are watching, and those that are come on and speak. Wherever you're looking from, whoever you are, thank you. For joining us tonight. Take a moment and hit that like sign, subscribe, and share as we begin to get into the topic tonight. I'm calling it lifelong jeopardy. So, hey, Donald,
Aloha, cuz. Aloha.
aloha. Would you just greet the people and introduce yourself? I did a little bit.
Well, no, you did great. And as I said, for those people who want the full details, the website is newjumpswing.com. So that's NEWJUMPSWING.com.
Right.
And the whole point of this is that, for 10 years I worked with the Legal Aid Society of Hawaii strictly as a social security disability advocate. And one of the things I used to say to all of my clients, don't work hard all your life just to wind up giving the money to the doctor and the pharmacist,
Yeah.
because you worked hard, honest, hard-working person, but you didn't take care of yourself. Then when it's time for retirement, then you say, oh, my body's falling apart. Well, it was falling apart along the way, but you were looking after family and you were looking after your parents and other people, and you didn't take the time to look out for yourself. And it's
Right.
not being selfish to be a caregiver. You have to first take care of yourself so that you can give care to other people. But I work with people so often sacrifice their own life, if you will, for others. And while on the surface that sounds very positive, it's not, because you're not taking care of yourself. And so one of the things that I developed, it's called the PDN, New Jump Swing Longevity Institute. And the idea is to help people, regardless of what age you are, help people to get back into their health, excuse me, their longevity. It's one thing to live a long life. It's another thing to live a long life relatively healthy. And so if you have something called health span and age span. Let's say you live to be 85, but you've been on medications since you were 45. So you had 45 years of health span within an 85 years of lifespan. And part of what we're trying to do is to increase your health span within your lifespan. No one can guarantee you're going to see tomorrow's sun, but how is your health today? How are you feeling today? We're not talking about you going out there and running a marathon or trying to engage in any type of competitive athletics. What we're talking about is basic exercise to help loosen up your body, keep your body loose, flexible, allow you to go shopping and not be worn out after you've done it, allow you to go, if you want to go to any sort of event, you don't have to make sure that you've taken care of it, taking every medication you can so that you don't have pain for the 2 hours that you may go out. The idea is to really help the individual develop. Excuse me, I ate a macadamia nut.
Oh, I do that a lot and be oh my God.
So the point was that the idea is to help you get more physically active within reason. As I said, they don't want you going out there thinking you're going to jump rope or anything. New Jump Swing, first and foremost, if you go to the website, you'll see me doing about a minute with a rope, but I'm not jumping at all.
Right. And
I'm
I'm gonna show
working
that.
on balance, timing, coordination. One of the biggest challenges to people as they reach a certain age, falls. You could have people who have been very healthy. That one fall just brought them down. Oh, thank you. So you see there, I'm swinging the rope. I'm not jumping. But by swinging the rope, using my arms, my legs, being able to turn like that, all of those things are important when you reach a certain age in terms of balance, timing. Again, you want to be able to keep your body loose without hurting yourself. One of the things that I criticize, you'll see on the internet, there are people who are obviously in their 40s or 50s telling you, oh, you can be active in your 70s and 80s. Well, they're not 70 or 80. They don't know. I'll be 73 next month. Things that I did at 23, I know better than to try to do them at
Right.
73.
Right.
Okay? So you have to modify how you, excuse me, you have to modify how you go about doing things. One of the things, especially among, I don't even want to say seniors, but people over 45, 50, you go to the doctor very often. One of the things the doctor will tell you that you're dehydrated. You're not drinking enough fluid, not drinking enough water. Just that one thing of
Yeah.
drinking more water, more fluid, that will help with your overall energy. Believe it or not, it helps with your balance. It helps with your sleep. So many people are dehydrated. The older they get, the less they drink. And that should be the exact opposite, especially if you're home all day. I know if you have to go on if you have to go in a car or something, you don't want to drink a lot of fluids because then you have to use the bathroom.
Right,
But if you're
right,
home for most of the day, you want to get into the habit. First thing in the morning, start off with a glass of water. And it shouldn't be cold water, just room temperature water.
right,
And get into that habit of drinking more water, more water. That one thing can help with your digestion, as I said, can help with your balance, can help with your sleep, can help with your skin. If you find yourself, you reach a certain age and your skin is very dry and so on, you can use moisturizers on the outside, but just drinking more water hydrates you from the inside. And that's how you want to get started with all of these things. So, my main point to people is take care of yourself. I use this example. If someone walked up to your car and tried to put the water hose into your gas tank, you would stop them. Why? Because you know that that water in your gas tank is going to mess up the functioning of that car. When you take that same attitude towards food, when you take that same attitude that if I eat this, it's not going to kill me today, but it's adding to inflammation in my body, adding to constipation in my body. It's not doing anything to build me up. It's breaking me down. When you have the same assuredness of why you don't put water in your gas tank as you have about food, then you'll be on a good path. And it's not about being on a diet. It's about educating yourself as to what's going to help you and what's going to hurt you. I always talk to someone who tells me about a family member who had diabetes, and the doctors warned them if they didn't change their diet, they would lose a toe or a foot.
right.
Unfortunately, the people, that cake was more important than their toe. Okay. Okay. And this is not to chastise people as much as this is to go right back to you ate that cake, even though the doctor told you it was bad for you, you wouldn't let that person put water in your gas tank. So when you take the same seriousness towards taking care of yourself as you would your car or any other item of clothing that you bought or something of that nature, that's when you'll be on the right path to health. It's not about I'm going on a diet. It's about I'm going to go on a path of taking care of myself as best I can. Again, it's not about you're going to run marathons or you're going to be in the senior Olympics or anything like that. It's about I've made up my mind. Now is the time to take care of myself as best I can. And one of the first things to do is read more. The more and more information you have about what these things are doing for you or what they're doing against you, the better you are able to make the decision on, okay, I don't have to eat that today. You know, we're not perfect.
Right.
We all can be enticed by things. And when they spend millions, if not billions of dollars on advertising to convince you to eat it this way and eat it that way, that's not easy to just avoid. But, you know, if you have gout and you know certain foods inflames your gout, why would you want to purposely give yourself pain if all you had to do was avoid that food? And you know, even
Right.
my wife, you know, Pam, she has gout from time to time. She's got much more into the habit of drinking more fluid, drinking more fluid, drinking more fluid. So that's one of the same thing with kidney stones. If you've ever had to pass a kidney stone, that's one of the most painful things you could ever deal with. Get into the habit, drink more water, drink more water. You see, I'm not even talking about nutrition right now. I'm just sticking on
Right.
water. God promised you water.
He gave us
Okay?
enough of it too, right?
You drink that water. Now, there is such a thing as even drinking too much
Too
water, but that
much.
would be somebody that's extreme. You know,
Yes.
they say the 8 glasses, that's a good standard for most people. And you don't have to try to sit there and drink all 8 glasses at one time. You stretch it out during the day. But that's one of the things that is really going to help your overall energy level, your overall digestion, your skin, constipation, so many things. Just drink more water, and know that the reason that you're drinking that water is because it's building up your blood, it's helping you, as compared to just, I feel hungry, let me reach for the first thing that I can.
Right. So before you, I want, hey, Colleen, Colleen is on. She said to tell you hi.
Aloha,
Um,
cuz.
One of the things that you mentioned was about diabetes and the sugar. Now, they're saying that sugar is not the real cause.
Well, one of the things about health, there's a lot of people that will stick on one thing and say, this is the reason why. We don't live in a one dimensional world. We just don't eat sugar. We just don't eat fat. We just don't eat protein. We eat a number of things throughout the day. So, the first thing, if you have diabetes, between your doctor and the American Diabetes Association, who has free literature, you go to places that are well respected. If I was selling certain supplements for diabetes, then quite naturally, I'm going to tell you, don't worry about that. Take my supplement. But if you have the American Diabetes Association, which is comprised of medical doctors who have devoted just as many years as I have to the study of diabetes, the idea is not just sugar. The idea is what they call simple carbohydrates, white flour, a white
Right.
sugar, simple carbohydrates that turn into just glucose, which your body, you only need a certain amount. And so this is why they also recommend people, you want what they call complex carbohydrates as compared to simple carbohydrates. The complex carbohydrates, whole grains. One of the examples I was giving people, for those that are either from the South or from the West Indies, I want you to go and talk to your grandparents, if they're alive, or even your parents, and ask them, what was a typical meal? What they refer to now as whole grains, that's all you ate. 60 years ago, you didn't eat a lot of stuff. I mean, how many grits is about the only thing that you could say was a simple carbohydrate. But other than that, the people ate beans,
Yes.
peas. You listen to the medical doctors nowadays, and they'll tell you that greens are some of the best things you can eat. Well, in the South, it was very rare that you go to a person's house, they didn't have a pot of greens on the stove.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
on a regular
Yes.
basis. Very rare you go to somebody's house in the South and they didn't have a pot of greens, be it collard greens, kale, mustard greens, turnip greens.
New York too.
And yes, okay.
Our
And so
family
that was that the people brought the
from
good
the
habits with
South.
them. But what happened too is that you got into a lot of commercial things. And so again,
Yes.
going back to the diabetes, if you were we have a cousin, uh, uh, Dr. Dorothy Arnold.
Mhm.
Dorothy was born type 1 diabetes. She's almost 90. If she's not 90,
Yeah,
she's
she's 90.
always looked after her nutrition, her
Mhm.
diet. She's never had to go through a lot of the changes that much younger people had to go through with
Right.
the same illness. You have to be strict with yourself. And so the idea is not so much that sugar doesn't cause diabetes, it's a combination of things that will cause adult onset diabetes is called type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, you're born with that. The
Right.
body doesn't break the body doesn't metabolize insulin sufficiently.
Right.
You have to have your own insulin or by injection. But
Yeah.
type 2 diabetes is because the individual was eating a lot of what you would say refined foods that all of the fiber has been taken out of. So not
Mm.
just the donuts and the candy, but even even other starches that have very little fiber in it. That just raises your blood sugar immediately. Whereas if you ate something with protein, even like they talk about the people in Japan, they eat white rice, but they also, that white rice is not the center of their meal. Neither is a big hunk of meat the center of their meal. It's a combination of things. So they're eating a lot of vegetables. Yes, they're eating the white rice, but they're eating the vegetables. So they're eating things. The body is the body is brilliant if you do what you're supposed to do with it. But if
Mhm.
you're constantly putting things into your body that the body immediately breaks down, then it's going to raise your blood sugar.
It
And
can't heal. It can't
over
heal.
time,
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is a question of over time. So somebody
Mm.
says, "Oh, I can eat this today. It won't hurt me." No, but if you keep eating it over time, it's going to catch up with you.
Like this is I'm just thinking about your mom and them, and we wear them little short jackets, and they say you better put on a long jacket because when you get older, you're gonna feel arthritis is gonna hit you in your
Yep.
back, and
That's
stuff
right.
like
That's
that.
it's going to catch
And
up
but
with.
when you're young, it's not gonna happen to me.
It's
I
not
want
going
to
to
say
happen.
hello to Leslie. Thank you for joining us this evening. So yeah, the our health is very important, and one of the things that you gear to now is retirement. And so when you think about uh, older people, and you were just talking a little bit about it, and us exercising and us drinking enough water and doing the proper things that we need to do, how often do you see that not happening?
Very often, unfortunately. One of the things that, especially even if you go to senior programs, the senior programs can be a very good way of interacting with people, can be a good way of even having you watch my back, I watch your back. You got a friend at the senior center that, did you take your medicine today? Did you drink
Mhm.
enough fluid today? If you have somebody that reminds you, that's a good way of having a good buddy system. As we get older, sometimes we may outlive.
Accountability, huh?
Yeah, we may outlive our loved ones, we may outlive our family or whatever, or friends. But this is why having some sort of social support is so important, because when you hear about somebody who passed away and they were in the house for a week before someone discovered them, how sad is that? But that shows you that as the person reached a certain level, they had very limited contact with other people. And that social interaction is a very important part of healthy aging. You reach a certain age, you become depressed because you can't do what you used to do. You outlived, I had a very close friend. I outlived him. Many times I want to
All of them.
call him and say, "Hey, blah, blah, blah." And
Yeah.
then except he's not here anymore. And that can work on you and that can make you depressed. But this is why you can't go deeper into a hole. You have to try and get yourself out of that. Again,
Hmm.
be it church, be it senior citizen program,
Yeah.
even volunteer work, something to make you get up and leave that house. When I was 18 years old, I had a civil service job working in a mental hospital in Brooklyn. And I met two very, very nice people. It was a psychiatrist and a nurse. And both of them used to brag about how they never took any vacation time. Both of them died within the first year of their
Of the
retirement.
retirement.
You have to have something to do for yourself after you retire. You have to have a reason to get up out of that bed. And that's what's so important as far as your mental health is concerned. Don't shut yourself off from the world. As I say, volunteer work, church work, senior citizen center, anything that pulls you out and makes you interact with other people. If you're a senior citizen now, they even have programs to teach you how to use email, teach you
Right.
how to use the computer. Because I'm telling you, the way society is going, society is not going to wait for you to catch up. Society is going to keep on moving.
It never did.
It never did. But
It,
now it's even, I was working with people uh, through a job, Goodwill Industries, and I had two guys that were going to go for jobs. They went for a job for janitorial at J.C. Penney's. In order to fill out the application, you had to put the whole thing on the computer,
yes, online. Mhm.
online. So
Yes.
even though you're going for something that's not computer oriented, just to apply for that job, you need to know how to use that computer.
Right.
Basic. You don't have to be whiz, but you have
Yes.
to know how to do it for just about anything now. You order a product online and the product is bad, and you get ready to call up to see how you have to return it. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a human being.
I
And
wish it was.
we wish it was. So
That's
these are things that
irritating.
help the individual. healthy aging is not only your body health, but keep trying to keep up with the times, trying to keep up, or else the times will just roll right by you, which will make you even more depressed and make
Yeah.
you even more isolated because you're afraid to get involved with these things. You know, you have some people don't even like to leave a message on an answering machine.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. You have some
Yeah.
people who don't like to leave a message on the answering machine, but those things help you to interact and connect more with other people. This is really, when I start talking about healthy aging requires a certain amount of connection with the world. You don't want to isolate yourself. You know, you don't want to do that. You want to look out for yourself. I go back to that car. The car is dirty. You make it a habit. Either you take it to the car wash or you make a Saturday and you wash the car. You're going to look out for that car. Are you doing the same thing for yourself?
Mm, yeah. And that's true. I applaud Valerie because Valerie she goes to the senior citizen. She's been nominated twice as queen of the senior citizen and
All right.
things like that. And
That's right.
when you see her, she's on the trips and things like that. And she said that she does it for that reason.
Yeah.
And so if we're not in a community, you know, a lot of times we can be left behind if we're not up to par. A lot of times when you've been retired for so long, you can lose uh, that intertwining with people
Right.
or keep up with how to use the computer and all those type of things because you don't have to do it anymore.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But when you find yourself at some point, you say, "Gee," I mean, I laugh. I say, "Right now," which I just got a computer, a new computer. It
Right.
didn't come, it
After
didn't
how
come
many
yet.
years?
I'm still on Windows 10, and my Word software got corrupted, and when I looked at it, the Word software was from 2002. Okay, so and make people laugh. I just got a new car, a 2026 Forester Subaru. I've been driving a 2006 Forester Subaru, had 220,000 miles.
Oh gosh, 20 years. Not
Okay.
in America, not over. No, well, you're in America, not
Yeah,
in this over here in these states. You ain't gonna have no car 20 years unless you hardly drive it.
that's right. Yeah. So I'm saying all of that to say that you can put off certain things, but at some point in time, you have to get with the times and get in with what's going on to at least have a basic understanding of how the world is operating nowadays, because it'll frustrate you. And with that frustration, you'll have a tendency to withdraw even more. Oh, I don't want to do that because they may ask me this or the other. And you can come up with reasons why you don't want to involve yourself with other things. And that's really when I talk about healthy aging. Of course, we go back to the water. Breathing, believe it or not. While you're sitting there watching TV,
Oh, deep
you
breaths.
make you make it a habit of really focusing on your breathing. Put your hand on your stomach, which is where your diaphragm is, and get into the habit of taking more breaths. By breathing more, you will be more alert. Even that is something that is very common, but it is not done. If you wear tight clothing, even they tell ladies that even with a tight bra, girdles, things of this nature, that restricts your breathing. And
Mm,
so, like they talked about years ago when they used to bind women, and women used to pass out because their
yeah,
breathing was restricted. You want to go on. I hope that didn't come up. You want to go on and really get into the habits of really focusing on your breath. Breathing can also help you with anxiety.
mm-hmm.
Oh, stress. One of the things when they have classes on stress management, one of the things that they work on is getting you to focus on your breathing. So anxiety can be it's not going to be cured, but anxiety can be decreased
Yeah.
with taking your time and breathing.
I have a
Taking your,
young lady that comes on Thursdays at your sleep 10:30 in the morning, and that's what she helps us to have. Breathe and be able to breathe. Hey, Linda. Hey, Alfreda, helps us to teaches us to breathe so that we can overcome some of the stress levels and
That's
things
right.
like that.
That's
And
right.
so, yeah, it's
Very,
very
very
important.
important. Very important. So as I said, I mean, just recapping, we're talking air and we're talking water. You know, we haven't even talked anything extreme, anything here. Just more water, better breathing. Those two things, regardless of how old you are, can certainly help your overall functioning. Excuse me. One of the things that I always get a talk about, healthy aging starts in your youth. The habits that you develop when you're a young person, that's what will either make or break you as you get to be an older person. When you're young, you can get away with a lot of things, but
Yeah.
the body doesn't forget. And so those
Mm.
things are cumulative. You know, I talked about how when you're a young person, you can go party all night, come home, sleep
Used
for
to,
2 hours,
yes.
and then go to work. Okay.
Used to.
Sure, we all used to do that. But one of the things that they find to be very important for overall health, getting adequate sleep. And now what happens too, as we get older, sometimes we have poor sleep patterns.
Right.
And so that's something that you want to get into a regular routine of trying to go to bed at about the same time and trying to get adequate sleep. Turn off the radios or turn off the TV or whatever. If they have lights, turn the lights off so
Yes.
that that can really let you focus. And I hope you're not hearing my dog, but if you are,
Oh, yeah.
somebody's
We
at
can
the
hear
door.
you though.
Yeah, somebody's they're making a delivery at the gate. You know?
Uh-huh.
But so my point is that adequate rest can also help. Poor sleep pattern is also directly involved with your balance. You know, this is one of the things that say I go back to with seniors and falls. One of the reasons for the falls among seniors, they have poor balance. You know, and that's something that you want to get into habits of. Want to get into the habit of is developing a better sense of balance, a better sense of coordination.
Yeah.
People lose coordination as time goes on. And
Yeah.
so you want to try to also use good footwear. One of the things podiatrists, and I even laughed myself, I had a strained muscle. On one side, I could cut my toenails. On the other side, I can't bend down that far to do it.
Ah.
Okay. You see so many senior citizens that have bad feet. They can't take care of their toenails. It's one of the things, if you go to a doctor, the doctor should be looking at your feet because the average, many seniors are not able to bend down that far to take care of their feet. That can go into ingrown toenail, can go
Right.
into infection of the toes and so on. And so, you know, these are things, at least it sounds simple because you're used to doing it. But when you reach a certain age and you're not able to do it, you just let it go. But that's one of the things that can and if you have diabetes and you have those ingrown
They
toenails,
gotta get
that
them
can
taken care of.
definitely
Yeah.
go into an infection and
Mhm.
other problems. So,
Mhm.
you know, the idea is to really work on the foundation: water, breathing, good footwear, balance, keeping yourself balanced, coordinated. And as I'm saying, when I say coordinate, I'm not talking about you got to play hopscotch. But just standing up and crossing one leg over the other while you stand in the back of the chair, because the first time you do it, you may lose your balance.
Right.
But if you
Yeah.
go back to that, if you go back to my video, you'll see me just crossing my leg over and over from one leg to the other. That helps with good balance and coordination. And again, the idea is you want to, yeah. So as you watch that, there you go. So just doing that, just one leg cross over the other, turning, just pivoting like that. All of those things help to keep your balance, to keep your sense of timing and rhythm. Because again, sometimes you get ready, you lose your balance. If you have, if you've worked on these sort of things, you can catch yourself a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So,
true.
so the idea is to really do the simple exercises. You can do a lot of exercises in your chair. Um,
Right.
the heaviest can of food you have in your cupboard, you can use that for weights, because that's something that you can do. Just lift it over your head during the commercials and so on. The heaviest can of food you have, you're just doing that. But that is going to begin to help strengthen the arms and strengthen the shoulders. You know, Unfortunately, again, if you're selling products, then you can sell people all kinds of things. Oh, you need this and you need that. You can get a simple bands. They have the
Right.
simple bands like that. You tie it up, you put that over your legs. You can use that to strengthen the hips.
Right.
You can use that to strengthen your arms and so on. You don't have to go out there and spend hundreds of dollars on weights just to be able to start getting more strength in your body. And that's what really comes down to. You want to get more strength in your body. So I go back to, don't work hard all your life just to wind up giving the money to the doctor and the pharmacist.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Linda, we was just talking about Linda and Valerie. They're all together right now. We was just talking about Valerie going to the senior citizen and how encouraging that was. So I guess we could switch gears a little bit now and talk about some of the things you do with the new jump swing,
New jump swing. Well,
your new website and longevity institution. And so one of the questions I wanted, well, there's many questions, but one of the questions I wanted to ask you have a book, New Jump Swing. Why do I keep saying New Jump City? Because of the movie.
thinking of New Jack City.
Yeah, yeah. And so um, you have a book, Healthy Aging and Authentic Nutrition, and then you have PDN vegetarian meals. Now, let me say this: you also have where you do training in all these things, but you have always been, I'm gonna say, active. You have, it didn't matter. You had what, 3 Guinness Book records where you, from talking. We know you like to talk, and you have spent. You have been in the Guinness Book of Records for talking. You have a learning center, and so tell us a little bit about your learning center.
All right. Well, thank you for that promotion. The name of my book is called New Jump Swing, Healthy Aging and Athletic Nutrition Program. And I'm just happy to say that I'm going to officially roll it out next month. But since I'm on your show, I can say it now. I've just revised it. It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. So right now it's on Amazon.com. And I've just updated it from a scientific standpoint. Even though I've been doing research for many decades, knowledge increases. And so I try to keep up with, okay, what's the latest research on this product, or rather on this food or things of that nature. As the years have gone by, I've been able to give consultation to people in the name of health and fitness. And so what I did the last year was I set up PDN New Jump Swing Healthy Aging and PDN New Jump Swing Longevity Institute. And what that is number one, you can go to the New Jump Swing website. You can get a lot of information for free. And after for free, then there's the book. And that's really what I promote. First and foremost, educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself. Once you have done that, the only people that I take for consultation is people who have actually read my book.
Oh,
Because I want you to understand before we even get started where I'm coming from, what I'm trying to do with you. If you come to me and you say, I want to develop a good habit so that I can go from being a line worker to being a supervisor, I can help you with that. All of my Guinness Book World Records were based upon my books. So my book was the 93-hour record. My book was the 30-hour and the 18-hour record. And so the point is that to be able to say to people, here's how you develop goals for yourself, realistic goals. The person who hasn't walked in years, they've taken the car every place. You're not going to start from being a couch potato to being a marathon runner overnight.
Right.
Okay. But there's a way to give yourself progressive goals so that you can do that. I work with students. You want to improve your overall performance in class. There's ways to give yourself goals to be able to do that. You're an executive. I'm the former executive director of a mental health agency. I had a staff of 30 people. You want to be able to, I haven't been the executive director since the 1990s. I still have some of those staff call me from time to time to ask for a recommendation for another job or something like that. So I must have been a pretty good boss. You know? And the idea is there's a way to be an administrator so that the people that you work with never forget you, and that you gave them support and they gave you the support that you needed. So the idea of my consultation is to really help people identify the goals that they want and work with them on setting up realistic ways of reaching those goals. Now, the average person is not going to try to be in the Guinness Book of Records. I was Donald Thomas from Brownsville. As Muhammad Ali would say, no connection, wrong complexion. But I had a winning program and I had a winning strategy. And I used that Guinness book as a way of bringing publicity to me without having the money. Right now, the entry fee for the Guinness book is $600, and it could go into thousands if they want to have someone from the Guinness book be there while you do the whole thing.
Wow.
I never had more than $500 total for any Guinness record that I went for. So it wasn't about the money. Yes, money is important, but I always tell people I was able to break 3 Guinness Book World Records with less money than the entry fee is for the Guinness Book nowadays, because it was about me and what I was prepared to put into that goal. You know, with advertising, they can make you the greatest thing in the world. Okay. Because you're paying for them to say it about you. You know, that's what it comes down to. I'm gonna give you a quick story that I want your listeners to listen to.
Okay.
Shortly after I did my first Guinness record, I was invited into the homes of people to give presentations. And this one particular home, after I finished giving the presentation, the hostess asked me to stay back. And I did. And she looked at me, and this was 1978, 79. Okay, I'm going way back. She looked at me, she said, Donald, the things that you're talking about now as far as health and nutrition, they're going to be very big in the years to come. But I want you to remember something, and I hope you never forget it. There are 2 trains that you can take in this life. There's the local train and there's the express train. Now, for all of the reasons that I don't have to get into, you know, you're not on an express train, Donald. You're on a local train. But I don't want you to ever forget the same end of the line for the local is the same end of the line for the express. And when you get off that train, you will have more experience. You'll have met more people. You'll have seen more things. Don't get upset when you're sitting at that station and that express train whizzes right by you. You just make up your mind that you're going to stay on that train to the last stop. I have seen many that had 1/10 of what I had regarding health and nutrition whiz right by me. But I made up my mind to stay on the train. And this is what I say to people: whatever goal you have to make up your mind. You're going to stick with it until you fulfill that goal. Don't give up on yourself. It's going to be hard, but don't give up.
That's for me, if nobody else.
Don't give up.
So, Linda, Ida, hey, Ida. You have, let me bring this up. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff in here.
Excuse me, this is buggy right of these. Oh, okay. Are you interested in those? But the flower pollen and the omega blend. Now, I just had that upgraded with the omega blend. What we find is that you have something called omega 3, 6, 9 fatty acids. That's good for the heart. It's good for the brain. Many Americans, the American diet is too much omega 6 and not enough omega 3.
Mm.
The two oils that I recommend is macadamia nut oil and hemp seed oil as a blend. And you blend those two together. You don't use it for cooking. You can use this as a drizzle over your salad or things of that nature. You don't use it, as I say, you don't use it for cooking. You don't put heat to it. And you don't need more than about a teaspoon on that salad. But over a period of time, that is also going to help with your hair, your skin, your nails. But just as importantly, that can help with brain functioning, with heart functioning. And it's not for sale. It's something that it's a formula that I recommend to people that they go and get themselves. There's another aspect of omega 3s. You've heard about people taking fish oil.
Yes.
Now, some of the fish oil, well, it causes burping, but it can also have mercury or other things in the fish oils. I recommend an algae oil. This is the fish eats the algae, and that's where they're able to convert to get that omega 3s from. And so I recommend an algae oil, ALGAE. Again, you can buy that on Amazon. I don't work for Amazon, but it's one of the more affordable places. In your own hometown, you see the price of it. If it's a comparable, then you can get it wherever you live. And again, that's for the hair, the skin, the nails, the brain, the heart. Flower pollen. You've heard of bee pollen.
Right.
Bee pollen is flower pollen that has been gathered by the bees. Some people have allergies to bee products. If you don't, then bee pollen is fine for you. If you want an even purer pollen, then there's a company that I have worked with for more than 20 years called Graminex. They come right out of Ohio, and they make a pure flower pollen. I only sell it to my clients, and I sell it. It comes in 2.2 kilograms is 1 pound. America has yet to transfer over to the kilogram, but some places sell it like that. That flower pollen, as you can say, well, let me go back real quick. If you remember the days of the Dick Gregory diet.
Yes.
Dick Gregory product was a part of a company called Cernitin America. Cernitin America was the American company for a Swedish company called A.B. Cernel. A.B. Cernel made flower pollen. So ever since the days of the Dick Gregory diet, there was also promotion of flower pollen. Athletes, Muhammad Ali, Mary Lou Retton, and other athletes had always used it. It's not a superfood as much as it is almost a complete food. You can't live off of it. It does not have vitamin B12, but you would say once they recognize the benefits of vegetables and fruits, the pollen is the foundation for those vegetables and fruits. So you could say it's really the foundation of all plant foods is the pollen that the plants then become. So the pollen is it's a natural multivitamin, and that's the best way to explain it. It has also been used in several countries for men with prostate problems and for women with urinary leakage. Over time, it strengthens the prostate. It can strengthen the urinary tract over time. And again, if you go directly to their website, Graminex, you can read the clinical research that they have done on it. Many things that they use in other countries haven't come to America yet. There are places in Europe, places in Japan that they use that flower pollen for men with prostate problems. And over the past couple of years, they did research to see that it was also very effective for women with urinary problems, men and women with urinary problems. You see, nowadays they sell depends for men and women. Okay, so there's nothing out here that's just for women or just for men per se.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's where that flower pollen comes in at. It's a very good foundation for getting all your nutrients. As I say, it doesn't have B12. Center for Disease Control, they advocate that everyone over the age of 50 or 55 take a B12 supplement.
right.
B12, if you find you're getting needles and pins under your feet or in your fingers, in
Hmm.
part that can be due to B12 deficiency. And B12 is very cheap, and you can get that in any
Right.
grocery store, pharmacy, or what have you. But that is something that you really want to get into, especially as you get older. Even when they talk about vegetarians need to make sure they get B12. Well, as I had said in my book, after the age of 50, they recommend everyone take B12, whether you're a vegetarian or not, because you may not be able to digest it or break it down properly. Again, senior citizen, you go to a doctor very often, the doctor may put you on digestive enzymes because they recognize as you get older, you don't digest your food the way you used to. So when they tell people, oh, when you get older, you want to eat more protein, can your body
Right.
break that protein down?
Mm.
Your digestion has slowed down over time. And so that's why when you go to doctors, again, for seniors, they very often they'll prescribe digestive enzymes and things of that nature to help you actually digest your food. Just putting a
Mhm.
lot of food in doesn't mean that your body is using it. So that's where that, and when people see these things with the probiotics, again, even that Certain America, during the time of Dick Gregory diet, they had the Dick Gregory diet, they had flower pollen, and they had something called Ventrux aceto, which was
Mm.
an acidophilus, and that helps with overall digestion. If you're getting a lot of bloating, cramping, that's one of the things that can help you. I haven't had the opportunity of meeting her. There's a movie star, Maggie Q. She's been an advocate of health and nutrition for many years, and she makes products that are good for digestion.
Really? So, well, you've been at this since 1977 or longer.
Yeah, I
You've
wrote
been
the
at
book in '70. So yeah, I've been
yeah,
at it since 1972. So yeah, I've been in it for a
72.
while.
Hmm.
I've been
Um,
riding that local train for a number.
my question is, what about children and their digestive system now, eating all these foods that are not really healthy, fast food and the food that's, you know,
One of the things that people talk about, if you look at pictures of people on the beach in 1960s and look at pictures of people on the beach now, you will see just how much bigger people have gotten
yes,
over these years. In the 1960s, you still were eating primarily whole foods.
right,
You weren't eating a lot of processed foods. Now the kids, they're living off of hot dogs and French fries and everything else, a lot of chips and dips and everything
right,
else. Whereas, even my mother used to talk about in the South, candy was a luxury. That wasn't something that you had that you could just put your hands on at any time.
right.
That was something you ate once in a while. That was a luxury. Now it's a daily thing. If you ever look at some of the
Yeah.
TV shows for people who are 600-700 pounds and so on, look at what they're eating.
Yeah,
And look at what everybody in the family is eating
it's
some of that
given
same
them.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
everybody's overweight
right.
because you may be eating a lot, but you're not getting a lot of nutrition. It's just a lot of it's a lot of calories, but it's no nutrition in those calories. So this when they talk about processed foods. Um, if there's ever been mystery meat, it's frankfurters,
It's
or
what?
mystery meat.
Oh,
You know, like I always said to people, what part of the chicken does nuggets come from?
it,
When they get ready to process the chicken, anything that's left over, they take that and they press it into nuggets. That's what the nuggets are. So
oh,
that's not the quality meat and so on. Um, the reason that you see in so many young people that are overweight already because of you're eating a lot of fast foods. They're eating at McDonald's 2 or 3 times a week,
Right.
if not more. Uh, they're not eating fruits and vegetables. I even have my personal doctor. She said to me last year, one of her family members came and announced that they were a vegetarian. And she said to me, the whole summer that they were there, they never saw them eat a fruit. So you see, you see what I'm saying? So you can declare yourself, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian, I'm this, I'm that. But at the end of the day, what are you actually eating?
Has to be
And so
balanced.
it has to be balanced. It has to be balanced. And so
Mhm.
again, when you look at the 1960s, the people ate whole food. You know, we got into, I think it was in the 60s or the 70s, don't cook tonight, call Chicken Delight. And
Yeah.
White Castle hamburgers. And people used to have a contest. How many White Castle hamburgers could they eat in a night? And so on. You know, all of those things contributes to your overweightness, to your obesity. And if there's no nutrition in it, then it adds up. It adds up. And we're going back to that conversation. It catches up with you.
Right.
So the children of today are not eating the whole food like their
Right.
parents ate,
Right.
because the parents didn't have access to all of that processed food. Your parents, you had to eat. Your mother cooked. Your mother didn't call out. Plain as,
That's true.
imagine that. Your mother cooked.
Look, your mom, I guess it's not too much TMI. Your mom used to cook for us. We knew we was going to the bathroom. We was like, what does she put in this food? No matter what we eat, we going
Because
to
at the end of the day, you know, being a
uh-oh. So hopefully he'll be back. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's important that we value ourselves enough to take care of ourselves, even when we're taking care of others, even when we're in a space that I was looking at this story today about this nurse that worked. Are you back?
Now I lost everybody.
We see you and hear
Hello.
you. We see you and hear you.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Oh boy. Modern technology.
So while he's working on that, there was this nurse that worked 30 hours and she had only 8. The police
Okay.
officer,
Okay. We're back.
you can
Okay.
hear us?
There we go. I hear you. I see you.
Okay. I was talking about a nurse that I was watching a clip on, and she had worked 30 hours, and the police officer had pulled her over because of the way she was driving. And she said she had just worked 30 hours and she was exhausted. And he said, well, what did you eat? And she said something like a bag of chips in that 30 hours. And he was like, ma'am, you can't do that.
Can't
You
do that.
can't do that, you
Can't
know.
do.
And
Yes, I
so
mean, people that work in the hospital and may do a double shift and they're living off of coffee and donuts and whatever candy is in the candy machine. You can't make it like that. You know, this is one of the, it's not about being a health nut. It's about looking out for yourself and taking care of yourself. When you work that amount of hours, your brain is still burning. Okay, your brain is burning nutrients. Your body is still functioning. What is it? What are you functioning off of? You
right.
know, cupcakes and and things of that nature. The
Yeah.
caffeine will keep you awake, but it's not giving you any nutrition. And that's what some people wind up doing. They just wind up drinking coffee or a bunch of sodas or whatever. But there's
And
no.
don't forget the pills,
Oh,
the
you know,
uppers.
you know, going back to senior citizens, the average American over 50 is on no less than about 3 different medications. And in many cases, you have senior citizens that are on up to 10 different medications. It's
Some are
called
more than that. Yeah.
polypharmacy. Polypharmacy. The doctors have them. And one of the things, if you're a person that's hearing this and you take more than 2 or 3 medications, the next time you go to the pharmacist, most pharmacists now have the ability to check to see if those medications are negatively interacting with one another. That is very important. I had a gentleman that was, he was well, I won't say he was a drug addict as much as he was coming off of drugs. He went to his parole officer. The parole officer suspected him of being high. He said, no. He said, I'm just on medication. I asked him to bring me his medication. They had him on 10 different medications. We went to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist said, 4 of these medications are not supposed to be taken with those other 6 medications, you know,
Wow.
and that's why he was walking around all loopy and stoned. And so, you know, so again, if you're on more than 2 or 3 medications, the next time you go to the pharmacist, you ask the pharmacist to do a check to see if there's any negative interaction with that medication. Very important. And every pharmacist should have the ability to do that now.
Right, right. I did hear that lately. Someone was talking about it, and there's a blood pressure medicine I've just been hearing about that's causing reactions. This I saw this lady, her lips was all blown up
Yes,
from the taking it so long, I
that's right.
guess.
That's right.
And
You know,
and then someone else had a heart problem because of taking this blood pressure medicine for so long.
for so
And
long.
so it's very important that we stay on top of that and not just trust, like you said, the guy probably was just trusting what the doctors have given him and what he was on and not realizing the effects of it that it was causing him. So it's very important, like you said, that we really stay on top of that. Get to know our pharmacists. I need to do that. Get to know our pharmacists, and we know they get good money for giving us this pushing it.
Sure they
They're
do.
just
Sure
certified
they do.
drug pushers, but
Sure. Sure. And what happens too is that, you know, if you're on 4 different medications, that's 4 different doctors. The doctors are not necessarily talking to each other to make sure that what they're prescribing is not going to negatively interact with something that the other doctor prescribed. That's why you want to go to the pharmacist and really have every medication that you're on, have the pharmacist check it to see if there's negative side effects when they interact with one another. The high blood pressure medication, sometimes it can lower your blood pressure so much it makes you dizzy. If
right.
you find yourself, when you get ready to stand and you feel woozy when you stand, if you're on high blood pressure medication, that could be one of the side effects of that medication.
Yeah.
So any side effect that you notice, don't just brush it off. Next time you go to the doctor or the next time you go to the pharmacist, let them know about the symptom that you're having. And they can look it up as well and see if it's possibly from your medication.
Yeah. One last thing is that it can also, all these things that you're talking about we need to do, that if we're not doing them, they can cause depression. You talked about depression and sadness, and you think that it's just something normal, but it's not normal. Well, I guess I shouldn't say normal, but it's because we're not keeping up with what we're doing, not eating properly or eating the wrong foods, not drinking enough water. The medications we're on a lot of times also can cause you to be in a space of feeling sad and depleted. I
Yes,
guess I can say that. So,
yes. You are depleted. Literally, yes,
yeah,
yes, very much so, very much so. And one thing for me, I would just wanted to say, very often people look upon this whole thing with so-called health food or vegetarian or so on as something more for white middle class. And one
mm,
of the things that I have always written about is something referred to as minority health disparities. And what that is that any illness in America that you look at, very often people of color have higher rates of those illnesses than the white society.
yeah, you have said
Everybody
that
has
before.
heart disease. Black, Hispanic, Native American have higher rates. Native American have some of the highest rates of diabetes, along with African Americans. So, with
So,
all of these things that they're talking about in terms of so called health food, the people who very often look upon it as something for those other people, we need it even more because we have higher rates of these things. That's what, if you look it up, minority health disparities, higher rates of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity than the general white society.
So is that on your website? I didn't see that.
Yes, yes,
It
it
is.
is.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it is. And what I do, I break it down by each ethnic group. So I break it down in terms of African American, Hispanic, Pacific Islander, Asian American. Each group has their own particular health challenges, and those challenges very often are at a higher level than the general white society. It's
Okay.
the middle class white that pays the money to get these things, but it's the people of color who need the information even more.
Okay.
And that was one of the things when I was talking, I told somebody years ago, I had a guy look at me, an editor of a health magazine, and he said, "Oh yeah, you're the health preacher. We're going to write something about you. Don't hold your breath waiting, though." His exact words: "Don't hold your breath waiting." You see, what I'm talking about is how to make my community stronger. There are those who oppose that. There are
Yeah.
those that
Oh
the
yeah.
Affordable Care Act
Yeah.
represents some of the first time that people of color had health insurance. Yet you saw so many people opposing that. Okay. Why should we want to see you strong and healthy?
Right.
Okay. I don't have to go any further than that. Why should we want to
That's
see
right.
you strong and healthy? And so that is something that we have to want to see ourselves strong
Yeah.
and healthy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you get about your day. Thank you so much for being here and giving us so much powerful information. I put your website on in the description and in the chat. So listen, if you have a moment, go over and check it out. And
Please do.
there's a lot of good information on there and things that can help you. And I thank you, Donald, for coming on. I saw born in what was that? Hawaii, Hawaii born. What's that, Donald?
Well, the PDN New Jump Swing Longevity Institute was born in Hawaii.
That's what. Yeah. Okay. I
Right.
just want.
Yeah.
I. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Right. The institute was born in Hawaii. I was born in Brooklyn.
Right. I. That's what I was like. Well, let me see if there's something I don't know about that I need to
Yes.
know about.
No, the
But
actual institute was born in Hawaii, but one of the things that they already said to me, just in terms of marketing, it should be from Brooklyn to Hawaii. And the whole idea is, even for people
I
who
saw
are who are
that.
looking for a change in their life or their lifestyle, how do you go from Brownsville to Hawaii? Even that is a part of what I work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah.
I don't have to get up here talking about, oh, look at my rings and look at my Mercedes. And like I told you, I've been riding a 2006 car with 200,000 miles on it.
For
But
20 years.
for 20 years, just about.
And
But
that's
the
still
point
not
is
a
that
lot for 20 years.
the point is that just because you see that new car, sure, I wanted a new car many years ago, but I drove that old car and began to save our monies and get it together so that I could be in a position at some point in time to have it.
Yeah.
Anything that you want, you put your mind to it, you do it sensibly. We saw people that took a whole lot of trips and vacations. Very good. But if they'd have took the trips and the vacations, they wouldn't have the money to get the car. So, you have to have your priorities. And, in time, you can get many of these things, but you just have to, don't let your eyes be so big that you wind up getting in debt, because
Right.
you have to have it immediately instead of taking your time and save up for it. At least save half of it so that you don't find yourself with creditors and debtors and all of, because that also adds to your depression.
Oh, yes, it does. And that's a conversation for another day because that's a whole conversation by itself. But that's
Yes.
good information. And Colleen said, "Thank you, cuz, for all the good information. Um, to give us your, oh, thank you for giving us your time. We do appreciate it. And we thank you that you got up and got ready to be here. Where it's evening time here, but it's morning time there. And hopefully we'll see you again soon, and you'll continue to pour into us some more good information that is always needed. Listen, the replay is on. Go back, share the link so that someone else also can learn, get some information on longevity, what it takes to have longevity even after you retire. So have a good evening and hope to see everybody soon. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.